Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Department hosts hands-on training. Also, the MTSU Athletics Hall of Fame inducts 7 new members. Plus, school districts from around the area visit Overall Creek Elementary to learn about STEAM. And see how Adams Tennis Complex draws players from all around the country. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. Murfreesboro is the destination again this year for firefighters from all over the country for training that most can't receive anywhere else.
The Firehouse Expo 2019 National Conference in Nashville is touted to be the fastest growing fire service event in North America. Included with this conference is hands-on training for firefighters at Murfreesboro's Doug Young Public Safety Training Center. Fire departments from all over the country use the state-of-the-art facility to work on their skills.
I think we have a top-notch facility. It's still a work in progress, but we have these buildings here where we can do different types of training. Over here, they're smoking these buildings up and doing aggressive fire flow. We got engine operations going on back here behind us. And if we needed it, we have our big drill tower where we can do any type of training on the fire ground that we need.
Really, your guys' facility is almost state-of-the-art, even though it's old buildings and it's being repurposed, but it's a fantastic thing that the city has done here. One, to save money for the fire department by repurposing these buildings, but it makes it more realistic for us, for the firefighters, because these are the type of buildings that we fight fires in. And so we really enjoy coming here every year and look forward to the hospitality.
It's beyond great. It's phenomenal. So repurposing these buildings for the training we're doing really helps the city of Murfreesboro, helps our firefighters, which in turn helps the citizens because now we're more safe, more effective, more well-tuned. And then with this being Firehouse Expo, it actually gets to take it out to a bigger scope. We have multiple departments from all over the nation, sometimes representing 50 states if you combine all the years together. So the impact we're able to have by this little piece of beautiful Murfreesboro, great impact on the North American Fire Service.
So because of the buildings, the way that they're made, is they're made out of concrete and brick, right? So which allows us to really get in there and put more realistic fires in. We're adding in just all wood-based fuels, just because for safety purposes, we're not burning any furniture or anything like that. No plastics, only wood-based fuels. And but it allows us to get the fires a lot hotter and a lot more realistic fire training. To be honest, this is probably the best live fire training that you can get anywhere in the U.S.
There's 8 of us came from County Los Angeles Fire Department, and for the last 10 years, give or take, we've been doing live fire instruction really proactively for County Los Angeles. We want to make our firefighters more aware, better trained, better equipped to do a safe, effective job and get people out of their homes when there is a fire.
The younger people, they need to listen to the older guys who have the more experience and have actually seen more going on.
Those that are a little older, like myself, we have more years of experience, and so we're doing the teaching. And then the younger guys that are coming up are here to listen and try to gain some knowledge.
It's been one of those things in the fire service that was just kind of understood. The senior firefighter would take the junior under his wing, and this reinforces that, which is we need that in our culture and our trade. The experience, the time on the job, the things you've seen, and it makes a better firefighter.
You know, what we're looking for in the fire service is somebody that's going to be dedicated to the profession, dedicated to serving the citizens of their community, and that's the biggest piece, is understanding that it's a really big picture. It's fun to ride down the road with lights and sirens going, and there's that excitement piece, but at the same time, it's really the important part of serving the citizens of the community.
Desire to serve and integrity, those are my 2 favorite things. If I were to boil it all down, desire to serve, you have to be ready to sacrifice, right, ultimately. But if you're not called to make that ultimate sacrifice, every day you're still doing it. You're away from your family, you're going into people's homes to take care of their things. You've got to have integrity to protect them and their valuables. So those 2 things for me.
We would just soon never have another fire. It would be great, but that's not going to happen. But we try our best to make sure nobody loses their life or their property.
MTSU is proud to turn out world-class athletes, and this year 7 new inductees are honored at the Athletics Hall of Fame ceremony. MTSU's Kennan Sports Hall of Fame buzzes with activity as new members are inducted.
Athletics began here in 1911. We started the Hall of Fame in 1976, and to this date, 154 individuals have been honored in the Blue Raider Hall of Fame, and today we will honor 7 more.
Among those honored, football player Eric Walden, playing at MTSU from 2004 to 2007. Walden is the Blue Raiders' all-time leading sacker and went on to play for 7 NFL teams, and he says he's humbled to be included.
Man, it's a blessing. Like, everybody don't get this opportunity, and it's kind of a surreal moment. I'm really just living in the moment.
Basketball player Jim Martin, a Blue Raider from 1971 to 75, says advice he received from the school's president when he was a young player made a lasting impression.
He said, I want you to be the very best basketball player at this university you can be. And I said, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he said, but another thing I want you to do. And I said, what's that? He said, I want you to get your degree. He said, I want you to go to school and get your degree first. He said, then worry about basketball after that.
This year's inductees were joined by former coaches, other Hall of Famers, along with fans and family members. For more information about the athletes from this year's ceremony and MTSU athletics, stop by the Hall of Fame Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Reporting for CityTV, Michael Linn White. Overall Creek Elementary and the Discovery School host STEAMapalooza for neighboring school districts to learn new forms of learning.
STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. It's an educational approach to learning to encourage student inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. Murfreesboro City Schools has been implementing STEAM in the classrooms for years and believe in its successes. School districts from other cities came to Overall Creek Elementary to meet with administrators and teachers about the implementation of STEAM.
Today is STEAMapalooza here at Overall Creek. Really put it together ourselves with Discovery School. The goal is to create a network and to further that network and to support and to have resources for people and to see things, and we can lean on each other to troubleshoot. And so that's what STEAMapalooza is about. It's not about highlighting Overall Creek or the Discovery School. Well, we had the Discovery School do about a 45-minute presentation. Overall Creek's doing one right now, and then we're going to have some panel discussion. We take a little school tour. We've already had tons of great questions about how the process starts and how we can get there and how we can support each other.
Don talks about, as a principal, why he believes in STEAM.
The big thing is that the engagement by the kids and what they're learning and their thinking, and then also the side or byproduct of it has been the enjoyment and the energy that the teachers have. They love it. They're not being told what to do, how to do it, and at what time. They still have a schedule. We still teach state standards. We still do the stuff that we're required to do, but the vehicle and how we do it is completely different. So we're breaking school. Because these kids can't go to school like you and I went to school. We can't sit in rows, we can't, but we're still trying to teach like it's the Industrial Revolution. We're way out of that. And, you know, Dr. Gilbert's been talking about how we've got people that are making the policies for education that are my age and older. And so they think education should look like how it did for them. But these kindergartners, we're learning differently, and it's too fast. In the whole building, we have 10 desks. All the rooms are tables. That's not a new concept. The tables create more of what's going on in our current business world. The thought process and the environment has to be different, where it's problem-solving based. It's really exciting to see the community and the families buying into it as well. At Overall Creek, from year 1 to year 6, it's not even the same place. And so we need to be pushed, and this helps push us. It helps keep our building, our staff, our students on our toes, because we don't want to get complacent. We use a couple football teams. You got the New England Patriots, and you got Alabama or Clemson. Those guys win and win and win and win, and they got to rebuild every year. And so you look at that leadership and that model of how do you create that so you can do it year in and year out. They're not complacent. And so we don't want to do that.
Adams Tennis Complex is an asset to the city that continues to gain members and players from all around the country. What was once an old ag center with tractor pulls and horse shows is now a beautiful tennis facility where players from all over the country come to Murfreesboro for some of the best tennis in Tennessee.
A lot of times people don't realize what's even in this building, and I wish they would come by and check it out because I think they would fall in love with it like we have.
Open since 2015, Adams Tennis Complex has over 750 members, 8 indoor courts housed under 77,000 square feet, and 24 outdoor courts. Adams has grown to be the premier place in Middle Tennessee for tennis.
They come from all over the country. We've had players from as far as California come for tournaments here. We do have a lot of members that reside outside of Rutherford County as well, because a lot of the areas around other than Nashville don't have a lot of indoor court space.
Adams head tennis pro John Criss has been at Adams since the beginning. Criss carries an impressive tennis background. The former Southeastern Conference player and coach says the instruction you'll find at Adams is second to none. With 7 pros teaching private and group lessons, there are many options to fit the growing needs of the community.
So now we're up to 6 pros in addition to myself, and they're all staying busy. So we're a growing facility, and lots of great pros giving excellent instruction.
There are also tons of programs for folks of all ages. Jill Spite, a mom of 3, all who play tennis, is the brains and organizer of many junior programs at Adams. Her goal is to make sure anyone interested in the sport can find where they fit within the welcoming tennis community in Murfreesboro.
Really what we're doing out here is providing them opportunities to play and get better or just have fun. Either way, we try to give them opportunities to do any of that stuff that they want to do.
There are many ways to play at Adams: memberships, clinics and tournaments, or just come out and hit some balls. For non-members, it's $10 per day, and outdoor courts are free. You can even borrow a racket and tennis balls if you don't have them. This wonderful facility and its staff want you to come check it out and see all they have to offer.
It's beautiful, and it's really second to none in the area. There's just no one that can top the number of courts and the quality and the beautiful indoor facility that we've been given.
For more information on pricing, lessons, or to reserve a court, visit our website at murfreesborotn.gov. Whatever your skill level or age, Adams Tennis Complex truly does have something for everyone to enjoy this lifelong sport. Reporting for CityTV, Michael Linn White. The mental health chief of staff at the VA hospital is committed to giving the highest level of care to veterans. One way he's trying is through communication.
The mental health services at Tennessee Valley Healthcare System at Alvin C. York campus on Memorial Boulevard provides military veterans a wide range of programs to treat mental health.
So mental health at the VA, I'll just take this opportunity because it's my favorite thing to talk about. I feel like it's the best program that can be found for mental health. If you're feeling a little depressed and you think, I'd like to talk to somebody in mental health, if you Google psychiatrist, you may be waiting 3-4 months before you talk to anyone. Here you can just come in, tell your primary care you'd like to talk to somebody in mental health, that day we'll see you. But if things are a little more complex, if it seems to be more of a major depression or some significant mental illness, then we'll transfer you over to our general mental health clinics where you can be followed by a team. So not many people out there have teams. We have prescribers, nurse practitioners and psychiatrists, nurses, therapists, psychologists and social workers, essentially a clinical management person, all work together in a team environment. They get together and they talk about patients twice a week, which is unheard of in the community. When I was in private practice, I would call a therapist. They'd be shocked to hear from me. It's like, what are you doing, Colin? So, well, we share a patient. Well, of course we do, but nobody talks. Here, it's mandated that we talk. I think is unmatched anywhere.
Other mental health care programs are addiction, suicide, homeless, and work programs. Dr. Jackson, coming from the private sector, talks about the difference in working for veterans.
The veteran is a very particular customer, and that they are not going to tolerate anything less than what we offer. If I get a patient complaint, I want to know, because I can't get my ear that close to the ground. I want to know what's going on out there, how we can improve, what is something we can do better.
Dr. Jackson hopes the stigma of admitting mental health problems is being lifted, which is an especial problem with veterans.
You know, if we all had to wear little name badges, hi, I'm John Jackson, I have problems with anxiety, and you had one on you, and I go, oh my gosh, we both have anxiety. It'd be nice if everybody could sort of show these things. There's no cast on your arm, and there's people walking around fighting who knows what on a daily basis. And it would be nice if we could kind of identify one another and not feel so alone. I think that would help with suicide if somehow that we could connect with one another.
Dr. Jackson says PTSD and traumatic brain injuries are two of the most popular ailments that veterans deal with.
PTSD is really one of the bigger problems that we face on a regular basis. PTSD can affect mood, sleep, relationships, work, everything.
Dr. Jackson describes what happens after you're diagnosed.
So when you enter into the program, you go into a pathway. So if it's depression, substance use, you go into that path. PTSD, that path. Psychotic disorders, that path. And so what we have here is this very individualized treatment where groups, programming, the psychiatrists, everybody's working together as a team on these paths. We're able to take care of the veterans that need the help in a faster way and get them back into the community as quickly as we can. Very exciting stuff. The one thing I do always volunteer to do these things, one, because I'm proud of the programming and the folks that do it. We've got such good people here. But the other thing is the outreach. So if there's veterans out there not getting help through us or struggling to find help or on the fence, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, use this as a reason to come in and talk to us. We are here for you. We want to take care of anything that we can do for you. And so please don't hesitate to come in. And if you're thinking about harming yourself, please don't do that. Please go to emergency room, dial 911, come in to see my folks. Don't do anything rash. Give us a chance.
Hobgood Elementary students end their STEAM curriculum unit in a big way with the super cool final project. Social studies, reading, and math, they all come together for a final STEAM project that students at Hobgood Elementary won't soon forget.
So our overarching question was, how does patterns in relationships help you to predict solutions or predict outcomes?
The idea behind this project, to get supplies to refugees taking elements from different subjects. They put real eggs in containers, and if they survive the drop without breaking, it's a success.
They had to build their own containers, household items. They couldn't have any type of kits. So we were cardboard boxes, water bottles, popsicle sticks, whatever it is that they wanted as their container. And then they found some way to soften the impact.
Having a real helicopter involved meant Gibson asking friends. He also had full support from school administration, and he says having that is essential.
I think it's just a game changer for them to understand the value of creativity, the value of engineering, and then the value of making learning authentic.
Gibson says students learned a lot through this project and that topping it might be hard to do.
Kind of a high standard to reach for the next project, but hopefully we can keep it going.
This project was for 5th graders, but the entire school joined the fun. Reporting for CityTV, Michael Linn White. A hidden gem in Murfreesboro is a museum that appeals to the young and old and is growing bigger and better each year.
Open for 5 years, the Earth Experience is Middle Tennessee's only museum of natural history, located right here in Murfreesboro. They are the only museum in Tennessee that has complete dinosaur bones on display.
There was actually 2 of us that started the museum. There was me and then Lewis Elrod. Unfortunately, Lewis passed away about a year after the museum opened, and so then it was pretty much just me. And I've always had a passion for museums. I've always loved museums, and it's just something I've always wanted to do. I still do this for free. I'm still a volunteer here, and I have to have a real job. My real job, fortunately, is teaching, and I teach geology classes at Middle Tennessee State, and that gives me a little bit of freedom. It gives me summers off and allows me a little bit of flexibility with the schedule so that I can be here and have the museum open. Well, I think the museum really can appeal to any age. I mean, we get small kids up to adults, even senior citizen groups seems to enjoy all the stuff we have here. We have a large fossil collection, including a lot of dinosaur bones. I go to Montana every summer to dig up dinosaur bones and bring them back here to the museum. We also have local fossils. We have minerals, crystals, gemstones. And then, of course, we've got the big dinosaurs. We've got our T-Rex, and we've got about 4 other dinosaur skeletons. And that's always the highlight for everybody, is seeing the big T-Rex. We are always adding stuff to the museum. We've had people donate whole mineral collections or whole fossil collections to the museum. So the first new thing that we've just added to the museum is we've added a new meteorite display. We had a few meteorites on display before, but we've almost doubled the number of meteorites that the museum has. And another great new thing that we've just added to the museum, this was not found by me, it was actually found by a couple of amateur fossil hunters. They were out on their very first fossil hunt, and they went to a place that's known to have some stuff from the time of the dinosaurs. But they found a dinosaur bone. There have been fragments of dinosaur bone found in Tennessee before, but there was always a lot of question on exactly where those bones were found because they didn't have any good records on that. This one we know 100% it was found in Tennessee, where it was found, who it was found by, and we also know that it is definitely a dinosaur bone. And it's from a plant-eating dinosaur, a type of hadrosaur dinosaur. Hadrosaurs are also called duckbill dinosaurs, and so some people may know them from that name. So the bone is in surprisingly good shape, although it is in 3 different pieces. It did come apart a little bit. So in life, the bone would have been sitting like this. Lots of animals have chevrons. The dinosaurs all had chevrons. Birds have chevrons. Chevrons are bones that are a little bit unique for each animal. There's subtle differences between the bones so that you can tell different animals apart. It was found, you know, with everything in place, but it had those big cracks in it. And so when they pulled it out, it did come apart on them. I mean, I've got bones that started out as 1/4-inch pieces, and I had to piece that all back together again. So as far as getting this one put back together again, this is a really easy one. The museum is located at 816 Old Salem Road in Murfreesboro. If you want to get more information, we have a website. It is theearthexperience.org. We also have a Facebook page. If you want to email us, you can email at info@theearthexperience.org. And we would always be happy to have more volunteers to come help us out. Because we are all volunteer run here, we always need more help.
MTSU is doing their part for National Drug Take-Back Day to keep unused medication out of the wrong hands and disposed of safely. Twice a year in April and October, the Drug Enforcement Administration's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day aims to keep prescription medication out of the wrong hands or the environment.
It is an initiative to try to encourage people to go through their medicine cabinets, take out the medicines that they're no longer needing or that have expired, and then bring them to a place where they can be disposed of safely.
MTSU hosts their own event the week prior to the actual day, located next to the campus pharmacy drive-thru. All medications are accepted, just no sharps or liquids, and mark out your identifying information on the bottle.
We can accept basically any medication. It can be pet medication, it can be prescribed medication or over-the-counter things. We accept any of those things, no questions asked.
National Drug Take-Back Day is Saturday, October 26th, but if you miss it, there are several spots around town, like the Murfreesboro Police Department headquarters, where you can drop off your medication anytime.
It's available to the public every day from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can bring in any unused medication, over-the-counter or prescription, and just drop it in the box. It's secure. It is removed periodically, and everything that's in the box is taken and incinerated. So drugs don't end up in our water system, they don't end up in the trash, and they don't end up in the hands of children or in the hands of thieves or addicts.
MTSU Health Services says this year, for the first time, they are accepting e-cig devices as well. Reporting for CityTV, Michael Linn White. The Murfreesboro City Council votes to adopt an economic development plan for a mixed-use downtown redevelopment on the site of the former First United Methodist Church. Demolition is scheduled for January 2020 and will preserve both the bell tower and sanctuary of the historic structure. The plan estimates the city and county will generate over $1.2 million in additional annual tax revenues during the tax increment financing incentive. Afterwards, the development will yield an additional estimated $645,000 in combined annual property tax revenue for the county and city.
Have we done a lot of TIFs throughout the city?
I don't think, my understanding is this is the first one.
We're not giving the developer $6 million in cash.
No, that's not the way a TIF works. TIF financing is, and this one's specifically structured so that the development has to go in place and has to be reassessed, and then the taxes that are paid, the property taxes are paid, are rebated back to the developer. So it's completely performance-based. They have to develop, and they have to develop within a period of time because there is a cap both on the amount and on the time in which this would develop. And I think the important thing to understand about TIF is that while the property may develop at some point in time in the future, we don't know, this allows the city to control not only what's being developed there, but the time in which it will be developed by incentivizing the program. So instead of waiting 10 or 20 years for that block to develop, we know now that it'll develop now, and it'll develop to the standards that we would like it to.
We researched even adding 2 more floors onto the existing county garage, and that was going to be roughly $8 million that we would have had to borrow money to be able to do that. In this case, we're able to leverage a development that the council wanted to be able to control what that city block was going to be, as opposed to have probably the most critical piece of property in the downtown area, not know what the development's going to be.
This is a $60 to $75 million investment into our community. And not only that, if we were to build the 505 parking places that we're considering having built on this project, it would be anywhere from probably $10 to $12 million for us to build those parking places. So a $6 million TIF is actually very advantageous considering what we're getting out of the deal of a $10 to $12 million parking facility.
It was another great year for Murfreesboro's Middle Half Marathon that happened in October. This year, the weather during the race was cloudy and 44 degrees. The new course was a hit. The start and finish took place downtown. It also included the Rutherford County Courthouse, East Main Street, Oakland's Mansion, MTSU's campus with Alumni Boulevard, and Blue Raider Drive. Each participant received swag, including a long-sleeve t-shirt, Swiftwick socks, and a race wrap and a finisher medal. Always a big thank you to all the volunteers that helped make the race so popular. Murfreesboro police officer Terry Spence, he helped motivate the runners right before the finish line. Fall leaf collection season is here and continues through the first and second week of January 2020. Here's a public service announcement with tips that would help make the collection a little smoother.
Leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Departments. Here are a few tips how you can help in the process. Please keep loose leaves separate from yard waste like brush, debris, and limbs. Only biodegradable paper bags are accepted for those residents who choose to bag their leaves. Place tree limbs and brush parallel to the street. Make sure the debris is in one pile only instead of several piles. Don't place brush longer than 10 feet in length. Don't place brush under low-lying power lines and cable lines to allow room for the boom to work. Don't park a vehicle near the brush pile during daylight hours. Most of the leaf collection season typically ends before the Christmas holidays. Crews will continue picking up bags of leaves through the first or second week of January. Once again, leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Department.
Dr. Heather Knox, a former 5th grade math teacher at Northfield Elementary, now serving as a Murfreesboro City Schools Gifted Specialist, receives the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. The award is the nation's highest honor for K-12 math and science teachers. The awards program is administered by the National Science Foundation on behalf of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Knox received her Doctor of Education from Carson Newman University and her Master of Education from Middle Tennessee State University. She's taught with Murfreesboro City Schools since 2012. Just a reminder, Patterson Park Community Center will be closed November 17th through November 23rd for cleaning and maintenance. SportsCom will be open that week. St. Clair Street Senior Center will also be closed for maintenance November 25th through the 29th and will reopen Saturday, November 30th. Also, Murfreesboro City Hall will be closed November 11th in observance of the Veterans Day holiday and November 28th and 29th for the Thanksgiving holiday. Parks facilities will be open on November 11th and 29th except for St. Clair Street Senior Center. And mark your calendars. The annual Downtown Christmas Tree Lighting is Friday, December 6th at 6 p.m. at the Rutherford County Public Square. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.